Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What You Say Anime. I am your host, Peter. Several months ago, we did an episode based off the popular TV show Shark Tank, where we negotiated, swindled, and dealed each other some anime and some manga to consume. And on today's episode, we're here to report back on those stories. This is going to be a very, very spoiler-heavy episode on a bunch of different properties. So in the description below, there will be timestamps for each property that we're talking about, so you can get your matrix on and dodge every bullet that you need to. Joining me today is the OG cast from our Shark Tank episode, Miles, Pat, Jolene, and Kat. We got a lot, and I mean a lot, to get to. So let's dive into our first show that we were all technically assigned to watch, and that was Revolutionary Girl, Utena. Who would like to start?
Yeah, so I have been dictated to start. A little behind the scene peek. I still think it's a bit weird, but we'll go with it. Like it happens.
Right.
I don't know what to say.
I can't wait.
It's okay. Look, no one else said yes, and you were like, Miles, do it, and I am nothing if not a doormat, as my mom likes to tell me, during paternity leave. And I fell in love with it. It definitely shows his age in a few different ways, but ultimately I think it's like a very solid story with interesting characters, and it's a lot of fun, and also has some sort of like heavy-hitting moments, and you can see a lot of the influence it's had throughout anime, especially if you've watched Witch from Mercury, where it's secretly just the same thing. So, but Choo Choo has afro palms instead of mouse ears in Witch from Mercury. So I guess my thought would be like, does anybody want to start off on what they thought about this? Was it what they expected? I talked to Pete a little bit as he was watching it, so I have a little idea there. But
yeah,
I can start us off. Yeah, because
sure thing.
I agree with some of what you've said. Like I really did think it was. I think they did the character development really well, and I think that even though it does show its age in terms of its animation and repeating things multiple times, I don't think it. I think it still is really cool, and there are so many iconic shots and things from it that, like directorially, it's really beautifully done. What frustrated me was this didn't feel like it needed to be 39 episodes. I felt like I was watching the same 4 episodes in a cycle over and over again with I think I commented to you, right, that it's like this is like Pokemon but for girls or whatever, right? And it's like the story, like it's repetitive, just beating the gym leader, or in this case she's defending her crown from or not her crown, her title from all these different challengers coming in. Like it just felt very like monster of the week, but and over and over and over again, with the same like 3 lessons being learned by the different characters, which is where I was getting very frustrated with it, because like, yeah, and then by the end of it, it pulls it all the way back around too. Like it was a really, I think, an interesting story, but I was just took a lot for me to finish this. I think I don't know if anyone else feels the same way.
Yeah, so like, I guess to answer that really quickly, I would agree. I think a lot of things from the time period sort of have that monster of the week category sort of thing. Like I've watched, like Sailor Moon, for example, and you can kind of cut out a lot of the middling episodes. So it'll start off, you'll get the plot established, then it will monster of the week for a while, and then it will tie everything up and like actually have plot. And it'll probably be like, half and half, but the middle half tends to be a little whatever. Now, I do agree Utena has that, but they do, I think, towards the latter half sort of go away from that. And you do have things like the Nanami episodes, which
What
add
are
some
those,
spice
man?
to them. Amazing, pure art.
yeah, peak.
Yeah. All right. They were
I-
funny. I will give the show credit too. It was a lot funnier than I expected it to be.
The elephants falling off the Alps or whatever when she was like climbing a mountain.
Yeah,
I thought
that
that
was
was like
good.
the funniest thing. And then it'll occasionally hit you with like the feels on them and stuff too, which I thought was fun. Does anyone else have thoughts on that? Does Jolene or Pete have thoughts on, either Pat's thoughts or my thoughts or the show, your own thoughts.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit, honestly. Like, I also had to watch Sarazanmai for this, if I recall correctly, and I did. And seeing the DNA of Utena is just clear as day and that sort of thing. Uh, in terms of just like how open-ended everything feels and like how out there the themes are presented, like in a very, artsy fartsy sort of way. But Utena is just iconic. Like, as you watch it, you can really see its influence in so many different things from, you know, outright things like you said, like Witch from Mercury, to things that are a little bit more subtle, like Kill la Kill, or I don't know, just think of literally anything with like an overbearing student council with more power than God,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
Literally, the more God power than Dios. Yeah.
I think that overall, my favorite part of this show was definitely the sound design in terms of just like how things sounded in general, as well as the OST. There was a lot of great stuff there, a lot of just outright bangers. Like the theme whenever Utena is going to duel somebody is something I basically never skip. I liked the OP and the ED. I love that at points it just evolves into like a 10-minute long AMV. That's basically my favorite sort of thing. So I enjoyed this quite a bit. I do agree that like 39 episodes feels drawn out even for like a good show a lot of the time. And this is a good show, don't get me wrong. But it's kind of similar to how I felt when I was watching part 3 of JoJo's, which is like 36 episodes, I want to say. I was past a certain point, you're just kind of like, oh my god, I would love to see like the plot move a little bit faster or something like that. But this is a very character-based show rather than like there's definitely a plot, but the plot is just there to propel our characters into conflict with each other. I know that sounds like a very basic, like explanation of storytelling, but this show is like very much so that. Um, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I'm gonna say something, but you guys have to wait for me to finish before. This show to me is the exact same feeling I felt when I watched Ava. It was a show where there were so many different, each episode had so many different like themes and messaging where they all sort of related to just being the age of a girl, I feel like, but how they broke it up into like episodic formats reminded me a lot of dissecting Ava episodes. And something that I really found incredible about Ava was it's a show where if you want to deep dive into it, you can, and I think you get more out of it if you do, but if you don't, it's still an enjoyable show. I think Una had the same thing where I was thoroughly entertained the entire time, and there are a couple different like conflicts that they had that I want to go into more. Like I want to understand the messaging and the theme more, and maybe some Easter eggs throughout the show that were maybe hidden that I missed the first time around that I could catch the second time, or something in like a video essay of some sorts. It was a show that just captivated me throughout. I do think it was a little long, but by the end of it, I kind of it's weird because like in the middle, I do feel like it was kind of dragging a little bit, and then by the end of it, I was like, I want more. Like I don't care. So it was a fun mix of feeling a little draggy to me wanting more content. I thought this show was absolutely incredible. I think it holds up even now. There were some really repetitive moments, but like the song, like the Apocalypse song was like such a good song. I'm like, I don't care. I'll listen to this 30 times. This is a banger. This was, I mean, thank you, Miles, for finally getting us to watch this because this was an incredible show. Incredible.
I guess like you mentioned the middle parts there, and that's where I'm hung up on, where it's like she beats everybody, and then she has to beat everybody again in a different order, basically, because they keep coming back to challenge her. And I did like the way that they were pushed to that by the Black Rose stuff, but it's just like at the same time, I almost just wish that's all that happened in the first place, rather than the initial. Like I that's where I was so frustrated because, like you said, there were a lot of really cool things, and it's like I feel like this could have been 27 episodes or
Yeah.
20 even or something like that, and it would have been more condensed, and it would have probably hit the same for me, if not better for me. I think like for me, I wanted. I guess I just kept expecting, oh, this will be the episode where we really keep moving forward. We really keep moving forward, and then even that doesn't really happen until the final like 5. So it was a grind, and I am still glad I watched it. So yes, thank you, Miles. But
Yeah, I think you could cut some of like I don't think like Miki and Jury necessarily need to
Yeah, that's exactly where my mind was going to.
or like maybe just them or something like it, it's just sort of like I don't think you need to rehash the entire student council during
Yep.
the Black Rose arc.
right, exactly.
You know, I think like I don't hate that they did, but in a world where it's like the early 90s and you have to like reuse X amount of animation and you have to, you know, like it's episodic in like such a way, I think that maybe there's like some rewriting you can do where you do that, but you also move forward sort of like the Anthe Akio plot and stuff at the same time. It's been a little while since I watched it, so I do remember thinking at times that it was going like a little long, but ultimately, you know, I just enjoyed the entire thing. And I think they did get good character arcs and like explored all of these characters, even ones who don't necessarily develop because they're just kind of shitty people.
Yeah.
They explore them in a good way. Also, one thing I wanted to clarify because Pete was a little confused by this. Akio is like 30 something.
Yeah, I thought he was a
He's
teenager the whole time.
Just a grown ass man.
Yep.
Which were
really that changed a lot when you told me that. I'm like, oh, this is really bad, isn't it?
He changes appearance a couple times too, does he not? Though, like throughout the story, he kind of ages up and down depending on what scene he's in. It looked like, and that it was intentional, not in a like badly drawn way. Like I thought it was intentional, but maybe I
I think a lot of
agree
it.
with.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I agree with a lot of what Pete said about it being you could go deeper if you wanted to with a lot of these things. I almost caught. It felt like I was catching myself doing that in the moment, trying to like read into things too much, and then doing that so many times over and over again over the course of 39 episodes. I think that it almost like wore me down rather than I should have just waited till the end and then gone back and gone digging for stuff, on my own. Essentially,
Yeah. So
that's what was
are
happening.
you saying you could go deeper and get on an elevator that has a changing picture of a caterpillar
Yeah.
that as you go down
That was
cooler.
I liked those scenes more than a lot of the rest of the show. I thought that those were really good because it was exploring those characters, and I think the show nails the ending. By the way, too, not to get. I mean, I know we clarified spoilers already, but we don't want to like just say it outright. But like that, I thought the ending and the way it got there, one of the better ones I've seen out of any. What is this director's name?
Ikuhara.
Ikuhara, like out of any of his shows and anime in general, even I think that this nails the ending.
It's really
to
good.
me, like compared to other stuff that you see. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really
so there
liked it.
is a movie called The Adolescence of Utena, which does some recappy stuff, but has like a different ending that is, I believe, more explicitly queer. Like it was shown at a bunch of LGBT film festivals and stuff.
If you know, but I can't. I don't want to. I want to say something because it's insane. Is the thing? The ending of that movie is insane. Is what it is.
Yeah, it really, much like someone compared it to Evangelion. There's a retelling of the ending that's insane. Is a similar thing. What did everyone think? Episode, I think it's 30.
The recap.
30. Well, okay, 33 is the recap one, which I absolutely love. But I was gonna say when did people see Anthe literally stabbing Utena in the back coming?
Yeah, I didn't trust her from the beginning.
Okay, yeah. Why would you?
I didn't like her character, so I guess I probably didn't trust her. But it did catch me by surprise in the moment, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, oh no, duh, it's a euphemism, or it's meant to be like someone in an abusive relationship. Like
Yeah,
like word for
she's
word,
too
bar for
scared.
bar.
She's
She's too scared. she's
Yeah.
fighting the people that are trying to help her out, so that's why she literally stabs her in the back. Like, like, again, but I liked that. I thought that was really clever and really well done. It was part of the
Yeah.
beautiful ending. But yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I did like that because it's very hard, and like even Utena, and we can talk about this now, episode 33, doesn't even she is susceptible to Akio's abusiveness, manipulation, like all of that, and she's able to get out of it and break free of it and everything. But even someone as strong as her, I like seeing that someone who is as great as Utena is able to stand on her own and do the right thing, can still be manipulated by someone like Akio. And she gets there at the end, but I did a really good job of, like, I think, showing her strength and resolve, and also the fact that in some ways she's still like a vulnerable person, like the rest of the cast, and like fuck Akio. So that's I don't know. I really like. I thought the recap episodes in the show, which is a weird thing to say, are just done like very very well. Like more credit to the team, because it's hard to do that well. But when you have one and the reveal is that Akio sort of manipulated Utena into sleeping with him, like, as its recaps are told from her perspective as she's digesting everything that's just happened, it's very, I don't know. That episode hit me very hard. So
Yeah, no, that episode was great. We can get to our final thoughts on
yeah,
Una itself. I thought this was an incredible show. I gave it a 9. I think it has a possibility of a 10 if once I dive more into it. It's kind of like what I did with Ava. I originally gave Ava a 9, and then once I got more and more into it, I realized like how much of a masterpiece it is, and I feel like that's the same for Una. So I'm really looking forward to diving into like video essays and other things like detailing Utena, because I thought this show is exactly what I'm looking for like this style of like messaging and theming and all this stuff in like a realistic fantasy world, I would say. So big fan. Thank you, Miles.
I have it an 8. I did bump it up a point from our discussion. I knew I was somewhere in between there. I wanted to finally get to talk to someone about it because I did only finish it a few hours ago too. So I, like Pete, will go back and do some more reading as well. I don't know if it's ever going to get to a 10 for me because I didn't enjoy it that much, but I think 8 is probably where it's going to stay for me. But I'm very glad I watched it, and it's good to knock it off the list. I think also just the weight of expectation. Like, this is considered like one of the,
Oh yeah,
regarded by critics as like one of the best anime ever, and I just did not feel that at all while
influential,
watching.
I would say.
Maybe influential is a better word for it, but then when you read the articles, they say it. You know what I mean? Like it's framed that way, or it was to me at least in the articles I was reading, and every time it's on the top of everyone's like older shows you have to watch. It's like number 1 or 2. So it's other than even without Evangelion in there. So I was kind of maybe going in expecting to be too blown away. So that's partly my fault, but I still think I'm really glad I watched it. And 8 out of 10 is a very good score. So
I'm
literally
happy
very
with
good.
that because it's got some stuff in it that you can bounce off of sometimes, and it seems like you liked
Oh,
it,
I
and
did. I
I will
bounced
take it.
off of them. I bounce off of the incest constantly. That was pretty weird. That was pretty gross, but it happens in Sarazanmai too. But I think this guy Ikahara seems to handle it pretty well, where it's like he
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
he doesn't frame it as positive or as like something that's desirable. It's kind of more just
it's
it's who the character
manipulative
is.
in
Yeah.
this, right? Like at first, it seems like it's played like a joke with Nanami, right? And then as Nanami's little character arc goes on, you sort of realize how much she's been groomed by her older brother, and that it's like bad. So, um, it's sort of like a deconstruction of that like brocon concept. It's like, okay, what produces this kind of person? And it's like not a very stable life and being a little off kilter, and also older brother who's manipulating you.
Yep.
Yeah, so I also enjoyed this show quite a bit. Like I said, I think that the high points for me were definitely the sound design. I think that the English dub, which I personally watched, was done really well and had a lot of familiar voices, specifically from the English dubs for Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Quite a bit of voice actors in common there. Um, Like Pat said, the direction of this was done super well. Like there was basically, apart from the reused animation, there was not really any shots that I thought and went, this is kind of boring. Like, I think that everything was done with quite a bit of purpose, and I can't really fault them on reusing the animation because it was 1997 and this was 39 episodes long.
Hmm.
Um,
The transformation sequence is so funny. It's
yeah. And
just
I can't.
fire.
I can't. I was gonna say it's funny to think about. I skipped it every time. I can't lie.
Yeah, no,
But
that's fair.
it
It's
saved me like
supposed to
3
be.
episodes of anime watching, in theory, right? Like over 39 episodes. It was like 30 minutes of it, probably.
yeah.
And all she
And
gets is little pauldrons. I think it's so funny. Uh,
like, as far as like the redoing the duels and stuff goes, I think that I kind of agree with that, but I also really enjoyed Jury's like arc in general because I feel like her arc is just so connected to like the womanhood of like the other two major female characters, Nanami and Utena. Like she literally gives Utena the sword that she uses at the end. Like I don't know, like what else is there to even say? Like it's like a very like solidarity. She's a very solidarity based girl's girl, and you see that throughout the entire time. So I don't know. I think that like the cast was a bit bloated, but they were all used to like pretty good, like close to perfection in my opinion. So I gave this like an 8.5. It's probably closer to a 9 for me though. I know we don't do like numeric or half
Oh, you
points,
can do
but this
whatever.
isn't Watch Club, so
Yeah, you do
Oh,
8.5. Go
yeah,
for
eight
it.
and a
yeah.
half is fine. Yeah, who cares? By the way, Choo Choo, best mascot character I've ever seen in any anime. I think I like that. One of the only ones I've ever liked on screen before. To be like Choo Choo was so funny, like so good. So I really hope. Yeah, I guess is that really who the G Witch character is supposed to be? Is
Yes.
that really?
Her
yeah,
her
well,
hair
one,
is the
she's
ears of the
also
mouse.
named Choo Choo, and
Yeah.
then she
Oh
has
my
like the
god!
mouse ears. So like Yule is the green haired guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I mean, Suleta is Utena, and Minori is Anthe. Um, and it's not completely one for one because it's also based off of the Tempest, and then like it has its own stuff going on. But yeah, it's a
That's
very
hilarious that I watched both of them
back to
within
back.
within 2 weeks. I've watched both of these. Yeah, I guess there is that connection, or I'm seeing it. I'm only halfway done with G Witch, so I will.
Yeah, but even from the
It'll
Suleta duels people at the beginning. She gets to be engaged. She
duh. I didn't even think about. I didn't even think of that part of the connection. I was thinking more of
Minori
the
is
yeah.
a gardener who is yeah.
All right, we got a lot.
He
We don't
is,
got a lot
that's
of time, so we
crazy.
need to move on to the next show.
Yeah, sorry. There we'll talk about it later, Pat, because there's a
Yes.
lot to
I will say this: if anybody's interested in anybody's thoughts on shows that we can go more in depth, leave a comment on YouTube or Spotify, or come into Discord and we can talk about it there. But we have to make this a hopefully 90-minute episode. We're gonna move on to a next show that multiple people here had, and that was Durarara. I can start with this one, and I'm gonna be quick just because I don't really like talking about shows I didn't like. I was not a fan of Durarara. This was a show to me that felt like there was a lot of things going on, but nothing was happening. I did not like the main character at all. The characters that I thought were fantastic were in the show not as much as I would like. I watched this dubbed. They have a character named Henri who is always like sexually objectified the entire time, even towards the end when we had like an arc of hers. She's still like objectified as like the girl who has big boobs. I think they call her like Titsy once in the dub, and like they call her like crazy names about how big her tits are, and it was like way too much. One thing that I really liked about the show was the colors until we got the reveal of who the colors were, and then there were a bunch of Redditors. I thought that was kind of like boring. But yeah, this just not my show. I really like Bakano. I had high hopes coming in this, hoping it'd be Bakano adjacent, and it just wasn't for me. So that's all I gotta say about Durarara.
I watched 3 episodes and said, I'm good. I'm going to watch Redline. which I'm not sure if I'm happy I did that or not.
Could
yet
you
with
explain
TV,
that?
but yeah. So I got Durarara with a 3-episode buyout clause where if I didn't want to watch the rest of it, I could go and watch Redline, the movie, instead. After 3 episodes, I exercised that right because I didn't know what was going on in Durarara. I couldn't really, like Pete said, sink my teeth into anything that was happening. I did some reading before I eventually decided to exercise that option. And the Celti is a cool looking character, and there's a lot of aura there. And I did get to listen to the OP 3 times, which was pretty cool, but not enough for me to stay. So I essentially I dropped it in exchange then for watching Redline, which we'll touch on later.
So I am slightly more positive on it, though it did have its issues for me. I'm gonna do the things that I liked really first. I really like the world that it's in. I like this like gritty ikebukuro with various um supernatural elements that are in it. I think that the general mystery of the world that it like presents is pretty interesting, and if I liked those answers or not, it sort of depended. Like Pete, I didn't really like what they did with the gangs. Um, and that is something that I just think they sort of tied everything into the characters a little bit too much. There was like everything was like a little too wrapped up in a bow for me. You know, where every character was secretly like a gang leader or important to it in every way. And like in these more gritty settings, I kind of like having at least a couple characters who are out of their depth a little bit, not necessarily in like a negative way, but they're trying to navigate this and they're not secretly in charge or whatever. I probably like Celti the most. I have a question for Jolene, who gave this to us. Izia character. Um, are we supposed to like him?
Not really.
Okay, that's yeah. I could never get a good read on that because it sort of seemed like it wanted me to think he was the coolest guy ever, but then also he's just a massive piece of shit. Um, and so I kind of wish they had like
To
leaned
put in
into that a
perspective,
little more.
in the second season, he gets like stabbed by like somebody passing by as part of like a assassination thing. And when he's in the hospital, he's like, "Yeah, now everybody's gonna come and visit me, especially Shizuo." And then nobody comes and visits him. He's like, "Damn, I'm a fucking loser."
Okay, good.
And
Okay,
yeah,
okay. I'm glad it gets there. Because
yeah,
um, you know, it starts off, and this was like an argument Pete and I had about like how it was portraying certain things he was doing, and I was pretty sure I'm like, no, it's definitely going to shine him in a negative light, and then it like kept going, and it never like really did. Now it sounds like it does eventually, which is nice, but I guess I just sort of kept expecting that shoe to drop, a little bit. I didn't like Henri, but like not because like the only person who really makes fun of her boobs is Masamoe or whatever, and he's just sort of like a Cosma kind of guy. Like that's his vibe. Um, and like it's not my favorite thing in the world, but like that's what his character does, so be it. But like her being a literal serial killer was who like was possessed by an ancient sword. I thought that was sort of the thing for me where it's like, okay, you have this cast of like 3 or 4 high schoolers, and then like all of them are like secretly the most important people in this world.
Yeah.
Like the head of the dollars or the head of the colors or like a secret thing. And I just sort of wished maybe they had to build themselves up a little bit more. But I did like the world building. This also has some of that incesty stuff we were talking about from Utena, but I kind of liked it because that doctor
Clip that.
lady
Clip that.
is crazy. And I like crazy people. I liked there was like a twist about if someone had murdered someone or not, and I liked that. I thought that was pretty good. Kat, did you watch this?
Yes, I did. I had agreed to watch the entire thing. So here's the thing. I So when I first started watching anime, the first thing that I did was I wanted to watch all the anime that had all the memes in it. So I watched Monogatari, I watched Nichijou, and I wanted to watch this because it had this is the anime where the dude punches somebody so hard he flies off. All of his clothes fly off and he's down in his underwear. I was really happy when that scene came on because it felt like hitting a bucket list for me. But honestly, this show was just really fun for me. Mainly because it felt like I was watching, and this is gonna sound weird. It's just vibes, but it felt like I was watching Nichijou again, or not Nichijou, Nanbaka again, because it's just so. I've looked at everything. It was like balls to the wall, and I was having so much fun that I didn't really care about the things that were happening. It was just like, hell yeah, dude gets knocked across the screen. Let's go! Like it was so much fun for me. Like it, um, honestly, I don't think I could watch this critically because it's just too much fun for me. Uh, because I just really enjoyed the vibes of it.
Jolene, did you have anything that you wanted to say about Durarara?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I enjoy this show a bit. I think that most of y'all's complaints are like valid enough for the sort of stuff that y'all normally like. So like, I can't really like fault you on them. They're mostly like opinion based. Obviously. Um, I don't know. I just really like the cast of characters in this. I'm big on shows that have like colorful cast of characters where it feels like everybody is doing something to move the plot. Like, I like shows that have a wide variety of characters and they all feel relevant, which is something I like about a show that we'll talk about later, Yatagarasu. Um, I think that a lot of the intrigue in this show is pretty interesting, but yeah, the main character is definitely one of the weaker points, and that limits it quite a bit. Um, and I don't know, like I'm glad that everybody got a chance to watch it because there's no chance it would ever win like R2 core or something like that. So it was a W for me, even if we're kind of like whatever on it.
Yeah,
There were fun parts.
yeah, no, they're for sure fun part.
And I don't know. I really like the vibe of it. I think as Kat had mentioned, like the grungy Ikebukuro. Like I really liked that aspect of it, and I don't think it was always executed perfectly. But I think there's a world where it I don't know, like there's a lot of like structuring of it that I did enjoy, and then it's sort of like when that structure gets filled in, it's not my favorite thing, but I don't know. I see the vision.
Mamoru Miyano on Kita as well was fun to hear his voice and be like, oh, I know that guy.
He's the
but
goat. That's Durarara. Another show that a couple of us had to watch was Dororo, not to be mistaken with Durarara. I only got 6 episodes. I'm gonna go first because I probably have the least context or whatever to put into this. I thought through 6 episodes, this show was a 10 out of 10. I have literally nothing bad to say. I was blown away by everything that the show did. I hope somebody nominates this for 2 core because through 6 episodes, it was perfect. I loved everything about Dororo. Like the openings, the sound design, the character design, the animation, the ending, like it was all on point. Like this show was fantastic. I can't wait to finish it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this show quite a bit. I do agree that I don't know if I would say it's a 10 out of 10, but it's definitely like a 9 or above for me. I think that the main point that I take off for it as the 2 core show is that they do change the OP at one point, and
yeah, yes, they do.
changing from a queen B OP is minus like half a point for me at the very
Yeah.
least, unfortunately, because
No, I feel that.
the way they do it is just so perfect is the thing. I think that this is a show that has a lot of like deeper meaning to it as you like look into like the folklore that's involved with it. It's a very important like show as well whenever you look into the history of Dororo itself. Like the original manga back in like the 50s and stuff like that, and the context of when and why it was created. Um, I love it. I think that this show is just fantastic. I think I got like 15 episodes in because I watched a bit more, but I'm gonna finish it at some point for sure. And I would also love to have it nominated for the 2 core. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Miles, how many episodes did you have, or did you not have
I
it?
did 12.
You did 12? All right, why don't you go first? Because I
Okay.
did the whole show. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm a mute when
yeah,
Pat talks.
I had a
should.
great
Oh
time.
no, I can't because I'm recording.
just take the
I'll
headset
take
off.
my
and
headset
I'll-
off. Yeah.
and I'll give you the.
I thought this was really good. For me, it's like it's a 9 with like 10 potential, like depending on how everything wraps up and all of that. I really liked the dynamic of Dororo is the kid, and I always
It's Dororo. Dororo.
yes, sorry,
Two-
we were just
two
talking about
rows.
Durarara and Dororo, and we've previously watched Dorohedoro, and
Yeah.
Don to Don.
but yeah,
Yakimaru.
Yakimaru and his brother I think is interesting, and I really liked, at least so far, the characterization of his brother, where it seems to be really humanizing of him, which is awesome. I was a giant fan of that because, like, yeah, their dad sucks, and they set him up to be sort of like a spoiled nepo baby type, but like, from what I've seen so far, he's just a chill. Well, that's the wrong word. He's a good guy, trying his best. Not
He's
chill,
honorable
though.
and venerable.
Exactly.
Honorable and
Yes,
venerable. Yeah.
and he cares about like righteousness and doing right by the people that he is sworn to protect. And so, I really liked that. I think the whole story is good. If there is any minus now, it's that Dororo themselves doesn't really do a ton, except
No,
for
they don't.
hang around. And if the series is named after you, I want you to be spunky and do stuff. So
They're a vessel for the audience, but they also do get involved in the second half of the show. In a
Yeah.
different way. Like there's
I'm interested to see where they go, because there's a lot of potential there for going a couple of different ways. So, we will see. But I was a big fan of it. I'm glad to watch it. I'm definitely going to finish it up. I guess I'd be fine with it being in the 2 core too. That's coming up soon, I guess, in the grand scheme of everything. So
February,
We have
right?
6
Only, or-
months.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not soon at all. That's about as far away as it could be. Well,
11 months.
Well, I meant like
Oh,
around, if we were going around the world, it would be the furthest point from us right
Correct.
now.
If time was a circle,
Which it is.
Yes.
So there we go.
a flat one. Yep. And so those are my thoughts, and I will deafen so Pat can spoil things.
Yeah, please do. Kat, did you gave this to all of us, right?
I did. I love this show.
Oh, it was so much fun. Well, everyone else is deafened other than Pete. It's too bad, but it's okay. I'll talk to the audience then. It's fun. Hey guys, don't forget to vote for Lazarus. In Watch
Go
Club.
fuck
No,
yourself.
but to focus more back in on this, I loved this show. I had so much. It was probably my favorite show that I got given as well. Yep, yeah, I got you, Pete. Easily my favorite show that I got given. I think there's just no doubt in my mind. I love this setting. I love the story. I don't have it at a perfect 10 out of 10 for me, but I'm thinking about it. It's really that close. Like I had so much fun with it. I thought I didn't like it was a little monster of the weeky, like what we were talking about with Utena a little bit earlier,
Yeah.
but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't noticeably bad. I agree with what Miles was saying about his brother character. He is so well done, and I think that the show nails his character and most of the characters in the show extremely well. So thank you so much for giving this to us. I'm really glad. It made me sad as people kept dying. The flaming horse coming into out of nowhere. Like I wish that there was more development on that. Like the final arc was a little thrown together, but it was good enough. It was still fun, but like the resolution and the story building up to it was so good that I wasn't gonna knock it more than at most a point at this point. You know, it's not going to sink below a 9 for me. This show was awesome. Probably one of my favorite shows I've watched in the last like 2 or 3 years. So thank you so much for giving it to us. Yeah, do you have anything that you want to add to it before, or will yours be spoiler free? So maybe we can invite the
Oh yeah,
others
mine will
back
be
in.
spoiler free.
All right,
You're good. You're good. Put your headphones back on.
We're back.
All right.
we're good now. Sorry, I was literally going to message you, but there we go.
Okay.
So no, Kat's gonna go spoiler free now. So
sure.
keep that in mind.
Yeah. So I watched Dororo the season that was coming out, and I was really surprised that nobody else was watching it. And one of the things that was really, really good, or that I really, really liked, was how like during the time where we were watching, we were playing anime music quiz and all that stuff together. When we would get Dororo and we would get the first OP, I was like, why is this not pulling you guys to it? But like I love this show. The funny thing is that the manga was
mango.
first put out.
Mangoes are delicious.
Mangoes are delicious. Actually, I have a yellow mango. Anyway, so the manga was written in the 50s, and then the first anime for it, Dororo to Hyakimaru, was done in 69.
Nice.
So this is actually a retelling of it, and I actually I surfed the web to get to watch the first rendition of it, and it like this is the better version of it. Let's put it that way.
Really?
Like it's. Oh, you're being
I mean,
sarcastic. Never mind.
well, yeah, like no shit. A show animated now or like 5 years ago is better than something from 1969. Like that's
Well,
like I think that the standards have changed a little bit. You know, I did look up some clips from it though. It was really cool. I watched a couple clips from the original. It was very cool to see a lot of the OG stuff around this manga. Like what Jolene was saying earlier too. There's a lot of cool stuff if you dig into it. So, but sorry, Kat, continue. What were you saying about the 1969 one?
Yeah, the 1969 version is it definitely has some interesting like tone shifts. Like it's not the same because it feels a lot more black and white, and this just feels like a much more more emboldened and more nuanced story versus the 69 rendition of it.
So an example of that with the 69 one, at least from the reading I did about it, you guys are all how many episodes in? Minimum 6, was it?
6.
So you guys have already seen what Mio and what happens to her
Yes, that's where it
and the
ends.
kids and the
Yep.
orphan kids.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect example of that in the original in the 1969 anime. In the manga, of course, this happens and it's very explicitly shown in the way that it happens in the current one. But in the 1969 one, they similar to like how old movies and westerns didn't like show women getting kids getting shot on screen
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. It does not go that way at all in the original anime from 1969. So it's very, very different in that regard. But then Kat, like Kat said, there's still a lot of the tone shifts too. Versus in this, it's a lot smoother, and the gray area is explored a little bit more as well, which I really liked. I know you guys deafened for it, but no, I had this at a 9 out of 10, if not higher. So like one of my favorite shows that I've watched in the last 5 years. So I would highly advise that you guys watch it on your own. But if you nominate it for Watch Club, I will gladly talk about it again because this show was so good. Oh my god.
Hell yeah. All right, and we're moving on to our last show that more than one person watch, and that is Yatagarasu. Jolene and Kat watched this, so which one of you two would like to start?
I'll go first since I was the one that
Okay, you watched more episodes than Jolene did, so maybe Jolene goes first.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
I'll make it relatively quick because I want to watch a little bit more of this before I form like a fully made opinion. But I enjoy this show quite a bit. I've always loved like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon and stuff with like palace intrigue, and I think like Apothecary Diaries as well. I think that this scratches that itch in like a really grounded fantasy world there's a lot of stuff in the like world building that is shown at the beginning, and they don't tell you anything about it because why would these characters ask anything about it? This is their life. But then there's like it makes you ask questions. You're like, okay, well, why? Like they use like big ravens as like horses. What's going on there? Are those people? And the answer is like, oh yeah, those are people.
Why, yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Um, I think that it's done super well. The characterization of the main character and as well as like the two royal brothers, that sort of thing is done incredibly. Um I loved like seeing the different like concubines from each house and seeing how they differ from each other and their interpersonal relationships as well. Uh Overall, I think that this is a show that has a ton of potential for me, and I honestly just need to like sit down and binge it all in one sitting, and maybe even take some like notes and stuff like that because I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of stuff actually every time I watch it. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of those shows that just makes me feel a little bit dumb with how well written it is.
I made a mistake because I think we did 10 episodes and you're about to get like the first big what the fuck moment the next episode. So I'll be really
Oh,
intrigued.
no.
Be really intrigued to see how you like the show. I bet even more after you watch the next episode.
Yeah.
I remember you guys when this show first was. It came out last year,
Yep,
right? Like
yep.
very recently.
Yep,
I remember when you guys
2024.
were talking about it. I was very curious about it, and I was reading all the spoilers. Not that I retained any of it, but I do
Mhm.
remember like enjoying the discourse around it. There was a lot of discussion in our Discord about it, which you should join, by the way. Sick
Good
plug,
plug.
Pat. Thanks, Pat. But Kat, sorry, I jumped in there too. So I think what did you think about Yatagarasu?
Oh man. So when I got this, I was fresh out of the first season of Apothecary Diary, so I was like, I need something else to watch. And I first started this one like after Shark Tank, and then I was just like, oh god, this is gonna be that show. And I think I remember watching this in the span of like 3 days. So I just binged the hell out of this. This show was it was so much fun with how well the world building is done and going through towards the end and why certain things are the way they are, and like especially the ravens, which funnily enough, not really a spoiler, but like the
You
ravens
can
they use as
spoil it.
horses.
It's okay.
I think I already
Ravens they
said
use
that,
as,
Ian.
well, no, you didn't say that they strapped the third leg.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
Always keep the third leg strapped, fellas.
yeah, they strapped the third leg. That's how they become ravens the entire time, which is honestly one of the worst ways to make somebody a slave. Anyway, yeah, I am enthralled with this show. I need a second season if they're gonna give us one.
Yeah, if you like cliffhangers and you like plot twists, like this is the show for you because how the show ends is like what the fuck? Like I need season 2 right now because I'm not going to say anything cuz Jolene hasn't watched it, but it's like that good of a cliffhanger.
Fucking hate cliffhangers, but that cliffhanger was like, you motherfucker.
I'm crossing my fingers that writer Sharp just reads it and just tells me what happens. Cuz I think it's based off of a novel and not a light novel. So
It says in the at least on Mal, because I see that there's a manga as well, or two of them technically. But there's also a regular novel, and the
Yeah,
source that for the anime is specifically the novel,
Yep,
not
yep.
the manga.
Yep. That's what I thought. Okay. Well, that is for all the things that we consumed as like multiple people. Unless you guys had any final thoughts before we move on.
Love the show. It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Hell yeah.
You
Okay.
guys
Just
need to
really
finish.
quickly, I thought you guys were done, and then like I undeafen, and Pete's like, and the way it ended was the big, and I was like, oh.
Well, it's not
Uh,
it's not really like a spoiler. It's like A show ends on a
He wants-
cliffhanger.
I don't know.
Oh,
I,
he
I
thought-
just didn't know what was coming.
He
or,
thought
Sure,
you
yeah,
were
yeah,
going
yeah.
to
yeah, or whatever.
say.
I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yep. No, I get it.
Like what happened. Um,
All right. Well, everything else we had
Okay.
was either like individual, maybe one or other person did it. But I'll run through what I started with, and then we can just go in order. Should we start with good or bad?
Bad.
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 Okay. Kat said bad, and this is directed at bad. Directed at Kat. Kat, I had to read the manga that you recommended to me, Black Torch.
Fuck.
Which for people, this was a manga that got axed throughout its serialization, and then like 12 years later, it has been announced it's getting an anime for some reason. I don't understand why. Kat, I know that you really enjoyed this story, and it seems like you had a lot of fun and you like recommending it to people. This story sucks ass, man. I'm sorry. It is so basic. Like the main character, fighter dude, merges with a cat spirit, becomes cat spirit fighter dude. They're just fighting because it's like not even like Meathead Shonen, because I feel like Meathead Shonen has like silly characters and interactions where it's a lot of fun. This was like a Meathead Shonen trying to be something serious. Like they were trying to like present a story, I felt like, that was deeper than what it actually was. It was only like 40 chapters, so that's a huge plus, because if this was any longer, I probably would have like burned my computer. I don't know. I gave it like a 3. I thought it was like, I'm sorry, Kat, it's probably the worst finished manga I've ever read. Moving on to the good though is what Jolene recommended to me.
David.
The Bugle Call. When this anime drops, whenever it drops, this is going to be like monumental. Bugle Call is next up. This story is so fucking good. It's also just so unique. It's like the main character of the story is like a musician. I'm just gonna say musician, I'm being broad, but like in the military. But when he plays his instrument, shit happens. And other people have other really cool things where shit happens, and a bunch of shit happens. Like outside of like what I normally read, you know, like my Skip and Loafers and my Insomniacs After School, that type of stuff. I think this is like, it's maybe not my favorite manga ongoing, but I think it is the best ongoing manga in all of manga. I think it's that good. I think the storytelling is elite. I think how they proceed, or how they like flesh out the characters, is elite. When this anime drops, it's going to be massive. I want Wit Studio to do this. Whoever did Ranking of Kings is who I want to create Bugle Call. But yeah, Jolene, this was Bugle Call is it. It is it. And that is all I had. So I'm gonna toss over to Miles, and he can go whatever he had. And if you
Miles
talk shit
brings up
about
a great-
Berserk, I'm gonna fly over there.
Miles brings up a great point that I actually did give all of you.
before I talk shit
Sarazanmai.
about
Oh
Berserk,
my god! Yes, you
Yeah,
did.
you know, it's okay. It's okay. It's one of the ones that all of us have watched, actually.
Oh my
Unlike
God,
literally
what a
any of the others
fail.
that we did beforehand.
What a
It's okay.
fail.
It's funny too, because that show, we literally brought up the show during the show, but none of us it flagged to us. None of us it flagged in our heads like, oh, that's not on our itinerary.
I forgot. My bad.
Yeah, I have the
No.
itinerary right in front of me, and I didn't put
I did.
Sarazanmai on mine.
But it wasn't on. the
That's on me.
itinerary, was
it did flag for me after Pete started talking about. I don't think it was on the itinerary. No,
It
Okay,
wasn't. No,
it
that's
was
my
not,
point.
yeah.
It wasn't, and none of us caught that
Yeah.
either, which I thought was
Yeah.
funny.
Okay, well, I
Um,
just talked, so you guys talk about
I did
Sarazanmai
just
then.
catch
I could I could start it off and just like talk about why I recommended it in the first place. So I gave Sarazanmai out. I don't even remember if we talked about why we gave it out when we did this episode like 10 months ago, but basically I really had been nominating it for Watch Club a lot. I think the music in it's a banger. It's Ikuhara, so the guy again that we just talked about him for a while with Revolution Girl Utena and a lot of other iconic anime. I thought that was a really fun tie-in, and I thought it would be a good Watch Club show, and it just never seemed to get any legs. It seems like it snuck under the radar too, which is weird because I watched it while it aired, and that's not very normal for me with a show that's so not my vibe. Like it doesn't seem like it would fit my vibe. I don't think, generally speaking, but I really liked it. I thought it was it was just chaos, but like in a fun, somewhat controlled way, at least. And that's where it connected with me a lot. That first episode, the first dance sequence, or whatever synchronized moment that they have is so funny to me. Gets me every time. So yeah, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. I think I've either talked or seen you guys talk about it a little bit at least, but I would love to hear your more detailed thoughts on it as we get started here.
Um, I really enjoyed this show quite a bit. I think that the themes of this one were a bit easier to digest than Utena, probably because the guy had like 20 years more experience in directing and writing and such after that. But the DNA of Utena is like very clearly in there, like after you watch both of them. I think that the dub for this was pretty fun as well, and one of the few things where they had like dubbed music as well.
Yeah.
And the only downside is that out of like the three main guys, only one of them could really sing super well. So like for some of the other ones, it was just kind of like eh. But that one guy, he was singing though. Like you could tell he was really into it. Um, this show is like super fucking gay. My God, is it gay? Some of the gayest shit I've ever watched, and I watched like Given and the Given movies recently. So, I, yeah, I enjoyed this quite a bit overall, though. I think I
I
gave
mean, there were literal
this like a
otters in this. Like the symbolism is.
true. Yeah, I think I gave this like an 8 or something like that. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I had a good time with this, as I do with everything by this guy, but it it was really. I don't know. Oh God, okay. Part of this is that I finished almost everything except for Berserk, which I'm about to talk about before December. So I'm pulling here, where we have to we have to think. But I thought the dynamic between the characters was interesting. Um, I liked um the general way that they dealt with like the conflicts that they were like going between and everything, and sometimes like you got to just sing it out. I like the singing. I've always stated anime needs more spontaneous singing that's choreographed. And though it is pretty uniform throughout this, like there's a bit they do in order to like forgive each other and use the power of friendship to poop out turtles or something. Uh, um, I had a good time with it. I thought it was fun. I liked like the sort of the zany aspects of it, um, which you can also see the Yuri Kuma
Oh yeah.
stuff in this as well with like, um,
Yeah.
like the talking animals that are evil, and there's just a lot of similar themes that we see here throughout his works as we go through them. But I definitely had a good time. I believe I gave this an 8 as well. I actually didn't score it. I'm gonna give it an 8 right now. But uh,
I liked it more than Yurikuma Arashi, which I did not like famously in our club. And I think it was mainly because it was so chaotic that it was I had more fun with it than I did Yurikuma. Uh and I think I also just felt I could connect to the characters a little bit
because
more
they
too.
played
Like the fact
soccer.
uh I mean, sure. I didn't even remember that. Yeah, that's no,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no, it
it's a
was
big
more
thing.
just like
Soccer. Um,
yep. Yeah, but
that's
no, it's more just like the three of them. The three leads. Maybe it's just they're guys, so I can connect to their problems better. I don't know. But I do remember in the moment being like, oh yeah, I can see where his perspective. Except for Kuji, the one with the older brother. That one was like, I think keep him at arm's length no matter what. I don't know. Your devotion runs that, like, you know. But I really liked the lead. I really think the first episode's cool too because it's like he just Yasuka or Kazuki, however he goes by in the show, he's doing something for his younger sibling, and is trying to uh fulfill their dream or make them happy, I guess, or distract them from some of the other things going on in their lives. And I really liked the way that he went about handling that. I thought that that was really clever, and it was so batshit insane as well at the same time, but in like a more fun way for me than Yurikuma Arashi was. But sorry, was it Kat who was gonna go next, or was it Pete?
Yeah. So I'm pulling Band-Aid. I didn't really like Sarazanmai that much. Like I so and it feels weird to say this, but like I don't know. Like it felt like there was way too much going on. Like it felt like I was overstimulated the entire show. And that
That's
that
fair.
was like and that's coming from somebody who like uh loves like really overstimulating things. Like this was just like I think my issue was that like and I kind of compare it to Nichijou in a way, where like Nichijou is like a lot of stuff kind of going on at the same time. But where Nichijou, a lot of the stuff that's going on doesn't necessarily need to have substance. This one feels like it does, and I need to read everything that's going on at the same time. And like my brain is going, okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And I just can't. Like it makes me super overstimulated, and that kind of dilutes the meaning behind everything that's going on. And I am just somebody who like I can't focus on one thing in a show like this because it's trying to have so many things pulling my attention away. Um so like I I I think that that's probably the reason why I liked this more than I liked or I liked Yurikume Arashi more than I liked this. And it was just because it had a little bit more it let other things breathe, which was my biggest issue with this show.
The show does have a handy, again, musical section where they tell you the theme of the episode,
Yeah.
um, which is
Right,
nice.
right. Here's the thing. I hated those.
Okay, well,
They
Like
were
yeah,
so funny. They were
so like
aw.
I and
like you're wrong, but that would crush any enjoyment of the show.
100%.
right. Like
This-
I can admit when I'm wrong. Like I get that there's like that is meant to be like kind of like a musical set. It meant to feel like a variety show type of thing. Kind of like a tongue in cheek thing. But like I hated that so much. Like it got to the point where I just couldn't watch those parts of the show where I just had to skip it because it would make me dread the rest of the show. Like I just couldn't.
Dang.
So yeah,
All right.
sorry.
And no, it's fine. No, I again, I didn't think I've already gotten 2 hits. That was more than I expected to get. So, Pete, do you have any thoughts as well?
I like this show. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I think my biggest issues with this show, and this goes for all anime, when like the side characters are like so much cooler than the main cast. It's like I really want the attention on like the side cast, aka the police officers. They were so much cooler than
Yeah.
the main dudes. Um, didn't really like. I don't know. Like some of the characters, for as wacky and crazy and wild this show is, I didn't find like the main cast fun. They were when they were in like their kappa form, but I think the show was missing an element for me that was in something like Yurikuma Arashi that I enjoyed more. Where I just think I just like the cast overall more of that show because they are very similar in sort of how they're laying out their shows and their dynamics and stuff like that. But I did enjoy it. I gave it a 7. But like it's one of those things that's just like I just preferred Yurikuma, so I was always going to compare it to that, and it just had some things that I liked I did it again. Yurikuma more than Sarazanmai, but it was an enjoyable show. I did like what I watched.
And how about the music in the show too? Like
Yeah, that's fun.
just the OP and the ED are like some of my favorite songs ever, I think. I don't know. I really especially the ED. I mean, they got Peggy's and Kanabun on both of those too.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that's a
insane.
pretty it's pretty crazy. It was really, really I loved them. And the animation on the ED is really cool too. It's like a mix of like 3D rotoscoping and 2D as well, like art. It was really, really cool. I highly recommend you check it out. If you are listening and are interested. But yeah, all right, I guess that's Sarazanmai. Thank you guys. I'm glad most of you enjoyed it at least enough to rate it somewhat well
Yeah.
and remember to talk about it, wink wink. No, I'm kidding.
It did.
Not me too.
It took me a
did.
minute, but I did remember.
You did remember. That's all that matters. Yeah. All right. So Pete, you went. Do we want to just go in a circle and
we'll
talk
go.
about
Let's go to
one
Miles.
each? Yeah, let's do that. So Miles, what was one of the shows that you had to watch that was not Universal?
Okay, I guess I'll, at risk of Pete literally murdering me, talk about Berserk.
Yeah.
I've
been waiting because we've had like bits and pieces of conversations, but we've never had like a conversation.
Yeah. So I got to like a little bit after, and I guess major Berserk spoilers for people who have not or ever plan on whatever. So Casca has just come to.
Yeah.
So I'm somewhere in the middle of Fantasia currently. I know I said I'd be current. We're close. We are almost there.
Yeah, you just got one full arc and then half of the next one. But I told Miles it was cool to stop at Millennium Falcon because I feel like
Fantasia not the last arc.
Fantasia goes into the next arc, but like they kind of like mesh, but they are technically two different arcs. But like they're essentially the same.
Yeah. Okay. Berserk is like it's very interesting to me for a few reasons. One, as known, not a big fight guy. And a lot of Berserk is people fighting. So that kind of got dull for me in some point. I'm gonna start with the negatives. Right. So in Millennium Falcon, they're fighting the Kushites or whatever their name is.
Yeah.
The Kushians. And there is, I mean, when I say like probably 2 volumes, like 20 chapters that are just one fight. And like it's a cool fight, but in my opinion, and this is wrong, but in my opinion, no fight should ever last more than 4 pages.
It's like one page is rock, the next page is paper, the third page is scissors, and then the fourth is
and then you
result.
see what everyone picks.
Yep.
Which is good. I don't know what this is a take is. For me, the peak of Berserk is Golden Age. That is where I had the most fun with it. That is the biggest enjoyment I had with all of that. Everything post Eclipse is good, but I just don't think it ever quite gets to that peak again, which is a little unfortunate because there's some really cool stuff there. I think as much as I like everything, it's a little drawn out, and I don't know if this is like I don't know what the community thinks, right? Like, I wish Casca didn't take so long to come around. I wish she had been able to do that a little bit more on herself, as opposed to like Magic helping her. Now, of course, to give this credit, like, there's still stuff there, right? She's going to work through this, and she'll have to, and everything. There are some characters I really, really like.
Yeah, who's your favorite
I don't know
character?
Okay, so my ready for an opinion?
You're gonna say Serpico, aren't you?
I actually really do like Serpico, but Serpico is not my my favorite character. It's oh my god, what is her name?
Griffith?
It's not Griffith.
Farnese?
People No, I hate Farnese.
Okay. Shriek? The mage?
I really like Shariq, but no, she's on Griffith's side. She's a medium.
Girl. Yeah. The girl who plays. She's not an apostle, but she hangs with the apostles.
Yeah, she's just like
name?
she's like Sonia.
Sonia, yes.
And I really like Sonia because she is crazy.
Oh, she's insane.
And I'm like a big, like, honestly, I think she might fight Griffith at some point. Like, it seems crazy because she's like so enamored with him. But like every time Charlotte is on screen, right, so you just see Sonia just go a little closer to snapping. And Griffith, of course, wants to marry Charlotte because of the whole royal lineage thing. Anyways, unfortunately, I can't talk about this for too long, so I'm just going to say the things that I like about it. The world is pretty cool. At first I thought this might be a weak point of it, but as it goes on, you learn more about the magic system, learn more about like the further away continents and the political situation that's going on, and they do a good job of exploring that. I thought that's really neat. The cast of characters, and especially the extended cast of characters, is great. Serpico, really fucking cool.
Yeah, he's
I understand why people might like Farnies. I don't. However,
that's not really a
I
hot
get
take.
it.
She's probably of the main cast. She's probably the least favorite.
okay,
Yeah.
good. Because honestly, once they showed the flashback of her as a child murdering kittens or whatever, I was like not forgiving her, and I haven't. Um, how do you say the witch's name? Because I've never had to say it, and it's
Yerk.
I think it's pronounced Shirike, but people-
Shurike.
yeah, the E is
Okay.
pronounced at the
Um,
end.
Okay, I really like Shurike. I think she is cool. I like that they were toying with having her be like romantically in love with Guts, and then they cooled it, and then they were like, you know what? She's happy with like the bond they do have, because there was like 4 or 5 chapters there where I was gonna type, "Oh, Berserk is a harem," but we did escape. It was really close, but we got there. Roderick, I think, is an absolute Chad.
Yeah, he's a Chad. He is for sure a fucking Chad. His name's Roderick.
Yeah. And so I think he's really cool. I really like the Midland like political intrigue, which unfortunately we don't get like a ton of, but we do get it sometimes. Like Farnice's mom, I think, is very interesting. Though we've seen her sparingly. The stuff with like the ritual and everything is interesting, and I like how there's a lot of things where you're not sure if it's real or not. Like the dark beast that takes over Guts. Is that real? Is that just that Guts is haunted and it's like a symbolic thing that he imagines? You know, like, what is that? Will we find out? Who knows? Because now that I'm more or less caught up and will be caught up soon, by the time I'm 80, maybe this will be done. It's an unfortunate thing about, I started and I had almost 400 chapters, and now I don't have that many, and I don't think they come out very often, do they?
3 to 4 a year right now is the pace.
Oh dear God. Okay, so I'll be waiting with the rest of you.
Hell
I
yeah.
really liked this. I'm definitely not as enamored with it as Pete is. To me, this is going to be like an 8 or 9, depending on different things that happen. And that's just because a lot of the stuff isn't for me, as in like the fights and stuff, but there's a lot of really cool stuff there. I can't get into everything because there's a lot. I didn't even talk about Guts and the Casca dynamic and the Guts Griffith dynamic.
Can you
and
answer me just one question though?
yes.
Is Berserk a romance?
So here's my actual hot take. Tower of Conviction, is that what it was called?
Oh, the conviction arc. Yeah. Right after Golden Age.
Yeah. There's a scene where Guts it does some stuff to Casca, and I don't want them to get together. I don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen because I want them to be okay by themselves, and I just feel like if you force yourself on someone and bite their breast to the point that it bleeds, you shouldn't date them. That's my take.
So
I
is it
get
a
his-
romance?
He sounds like an NFL player.
Guts would be one fuck of a linebacker.
Yeah, he's one. He's, Guts
Is the cannon arm allowed in
no,
the NFL?
but I think
okay.
I think canon. He's 6'8", 280.
Yep. Okay. He would. Is Brian Urlacher. Is it a romance? I will need to read further before I can fully answer this because Casca has not been a person for the last 300 chapters I've read.
That's true.
So she's just coming to. So hopefully they work their stuff out because there's a lot of things going on there. And honestly, I hope Casca gets to kill Griffith because as I think about it, as awful as Griffith was to Guts, he was worse to Casca.
Yeah.
It turns out.
Oh yeah.
And so maybe they get to do it together. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because like I'm really rooting for Guts to take his revenge. But also a large theme of this seems to be revenge is bad.
Is bad, yeah.
Yeah, so like, how do you marry those two things? I don't know. Killing Griffith would be a good thing. So like, maybe it won't be for revenge. Maybe it'll just be for like doing the right thing. But we'll see.
All right, what else did you read or watch?
Yeah, okay. So really, I'll go through the things that Jolene gave me really quick because Jolene knew how to strike a bargain. And where Kat wanted me to watch 6 episodes of High Speed Atelier, Jolene gave me 3 different shows that were bad. I watched the Rick and Morty anime. Honestly, kind of enjoyed it. If you like the show Rick and Morty, you'll like the Rick and Morty anime.
Checks out.
Then there was a show called Ayaka. This somehow wasn't the worst thing that I watched, because of the next show, but it wasn't good. I think Jolene described it to me as like if the Sonic the Hedgehog characters
Yes.
were like in there's an island. I don't know what happens. No one knows what happens. It doesn't make a lot of sense. At the end, the characters comment how the decisions people are making don't make a lot of sense, and hell if I didn't agree. The show wasn't good. Then I watched Delusional Monthly Magazine. This show wasn't good. This show was about a twink and a furry, and I think they technically were supposed to run a magazine together, and there was a third guy, and I don't remember what he did. But they don't do that. Instead, what they do is like learn how to unlock their personas and use that power to fight people who also have personas. Also, there's a magazine that, again, the show is named after and really doesn't play into it. And there's a leprechaun. I watched High Speed Atelier. The show was better than I thought. The show was very bad. It was better it was better than Delusional Monthly Magazine. The premise of High Speed Atelier is that if you're good at Mario Kart, you'll be good at NASCAR. This premise is proven wrong, demonstrably by the show itself. As our main character, at least through 6 episodes, sucks at driving, but as she was getting lapped by the High Speed Atelier Jeff Gordon, she passed him illegally and was disqualified, and everyone was very impressed that she passed him, even though he wasn't expecting to be passed because that was illegal and she was multiple laps behind. She used to do ballet, and that made people think she would be good at race car driving. It didn't make her good at that. I watched the Violet Evergarden movie.
Woo!
This was a continuation of the Violet Evergarden show, and there were good parts of it, and parts of it I didn't like. I also had to sit down and have a conversation about Pat with it as part of the deal about Pat with Violet. And if you like Violet Evergarden, you will like the movie.
It's true.
And
you're just doing the bit for the 3rd time already so far. I like it. You did it with the Rick and Morty thing,
look, no one likes Delusional Monthly Magazine, Pat. There's not a group of people I would put that on. And like, I don't even think the furries would like it. Surely there is better furry media out there.
Uma Musume, yeah.
Probably. And the Violet Evergarden movie, very gorgeous, very pretty. I think it does a pretty good job with Violet and the whatever his fucking
Major.
role was, Major. Thank you. I kept wanting to say Sergeant, and I was like, that's not right.
That's not high enough.
And the Major, there's some stuff that I don't like about that, but you can. That doesn't matter. If you like what happened in the original one, you'll like this. The only thing about the movie that I wasn't expecting to dislike, that I didn't like, and like I thought was a little silly, was there is this mini arc where these letter writers are dealing with the fact that telephones have been invented and therefore letters will be less important. And there's this other auto memory doll who is sort of not feeling herself. She doesn't feel like she's great at it. And there's an opportunity for her to do it, but what she does is then accept the fact that the telephone has been invented and call Violet to write the letter. And I was like, oh, well, okay.
Uses the telephone to do what to Violet?
She calls Violet so she can write the letter over the phone.
Yeah.
And it was just not the way I was expecting that arc to. I thought she would learn to believe in herself or something, and she sure didn't. And honestly, that's kind of funny. But it's a good show. It's a good movie. I gave it a 2 or something, but that's because I'm stubborn. It's not a 2.
It's
I
like an
think
8, 9 maybe, probably.
I would say the average person is probably giving this an 8 or a 9. Yes, probably like a 9 is what I would say. Like your average viewer would do. Kayla really liked it.
Did you notice that they
Based-
didn't kiss?
It doesn't matter. That's the implication. And so, I think that's everything I did. Did I miss anything that I did?
I think you got it all according to your spreadsheet.
Great. Okay, good. That's me.
All right, Pat, you're up.
Oh, I'm up next. All right, let's do it. Let's run through some stuff. So I about an hour and a half ago alluded to the fact that I dropped Durarara instead of continuing it after 3 episodes, and I had to watch Redline instead. The movie from Studio Madhouse. If you like the art style, then good for you. Was not for me. Was not for me at all. I thought it was pretty. It like assaulted all of my senses, even though the only ones that it could were 2 of them. You know, like I felt uncomfortable in that world, and I guess it's supposed to be all grungy, a little cyberpunky, or like neo capital or post capital, whatever the right word is for that, like cyberpunk worldy. Um, didn't care for the setting. It tries to make it a romance too, kinda, and I'm like, okay. Uh, Tits on the screen just randomly out of nowhere too. In that, like the main female lead for no reason whatsoever, just
She was
chest
honoring
out.
Harambe.
Yeah, there you go. Tits out for Harambe, baby. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care about racing very much either. I can't. So maybe that's why this movie didn't connect for me. But I was not feeling it whatsoever. The lead's kind of funny and has a few lines, and I like that the female lead's last name is McLaren. That's very clever. But then no one else is named after famous classic cars. Weird. A lot of fan service and a lot of chaos. Somehow an hour and 45-minute movie. By the way, I don't know how it was. I did not care for it at all. I think I gave it a 5. Yeah, I gave it a 5. So I'm glad I watched that rather than watching the rest of Durarara from what I saw, at least. But at the same time, I probably would have enjoyed the story of Durarara more because it would have been coherent and easy to follow, or nuanced in any way. This was just, I want to drive fast, so I'm going to drive faster, and I want to win the race, so I'm going to win the race. There was no
It's
like
that cake song. It's literally that cake song.
I'm not familiar. Which song is it?
The distance.
The distance.
Oh, he's going the
distance.
distance. I saw them
I'm
live in
going
concert like
for
a month ago.
speed.
That's crazy. It is that song, which is probably why I
You
didn't
know,
like it.
I had someone who like legitimately thought that the song was about someone bringing a horse to like a car race because it says like riding on his horse in it, as opposed to like just staying on it. And they were like, the song is so stupid because why would he expect to win if he's riding a horse in a car race? And I was just like,
They have a point.
fair enough.
The lead singer made some of the weirdest political comments I've ever heard, like on a stage, and not in like a bad way. It was just like the entire day everyone's come out and been like, hell yeah, free, human rights, trans rights, everything, because it was a music festival. And then he just comes out and is like, there's a lot of weird political people, and there's a lot of this. Like, it wasn't a right wing grift in any way, but it also very clearly wasn't a left wing like allegiance. It was the weirdest thing ever. The singer of this song.
It's
that
a
we're
white
talking about.
pile drift.
Yeah, I guess so. It was just a very weird vibe shift, and then they
What
played
makes
this
a man
song and
go
everything
neutral?
better. Yeah, no, exactly. Like, why would he do that? It was very bizarre. yeah, so that's my analysis of Redline. Is that Cake is a weird band, and they weren't nearly as good as Jack Antonoff, I think his name was. Bleachers performed that night and were better. Uh, who else? Whatever. They were a fun festival though. All right, that's Redline. Jolene, who gave it to me, I believe.
Yeah, because of the Durarara.
It was the Durarara
I
connection,
must have
right?
been smoking crack or something. Because why would I ever do that? I
I
don't even
also
like
was
Redline that much.
We'll have to go back
It
and
was a
look.
long episode. We were all trying to get deals done, but
Yeah.
if we ever do this again, God forbid, we will structure it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for
Alright.
sure. Yeah, no, I think so. So on to something that is slightly better than Redline. Don't worry, guys. We have Neon Genesis Evangelion, the end of Evangelion. So, oh yeah, have you not seen it yet?
Nope.
I
Oh
probably
wow, okay, fair enough.
I'm gonna.
I am one of the only. I thought I was one of the only ones that hadn't seen it yet. Um,
How was that for you?
I need to talk to some more people about it. Because that's maybe we can do that here, or since we're running short on time, we can do it another time. I'm fine with that too, because I don't think we're gonna come out with any new breathtaking analysis of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Um, having not watched it since the original, when I first watched the original, like 3 years ago at this point, it was a little jarring, but I did do some reading beforehand to like remind myself of what had happened in the previous episodes. Um, I don't know. It was weird. It was uh thought provoking and dark and grim, but I didn't really think it was I don't know. I didn't really I maybe I just didn't get it. And it's like I hate movies that I watch and it's like there's no clarity on what's going on, or you're not meant to be able to understand it on your first watch through, at least. And that's not to say that there shouldn't be little Easter eggs or little things that you can't get every time, or the first time you watch it. But like this movie felt like it was just like, well, haha, go read what my interviews, or go read my this, or go watch it back again and click frame by frame to see that. Like I was very frustrated watching this by what message it was trying to go for, and I would
Well,
be
yeah.
very curious to. And I maybe that's on purpose, but if it is, then
Do you want me
fuck
to tell
this
you
guy.
what my first thought was? Because my friend Sarah had me watch this, and she was like, "What did you think?" And I was like, "I think I hated this." It was my
I
first
didn't
thought
like it very much at all. Yeah.
was that because so what I eventually came to was I didn't like it because it made me feel very gross. It's like, as you've mentioned, it's not particularly clear what's going. It's just a lot of emotion and like angst and depression and sadness and hatred
And
thrown
death.
at the screen, right? And so to me, I sort of thought like, one, you're not really supposed to get this. You're supposed to feel this, right? Like you're supposed to feel certain ways when things happen. Um, and then two, um, like it is supposed to. It's like Guernica or whatever. Like it's supposed to, and you're not supposed to feel good. It's not supposed to be something where you're like, oh boy, I'm glad I did this. So I ultimately took it as the film being very good because it elicited what I assumed was the correct feeling in me, which was feeling gross and not happy about being human and confused. And like this dude was in a very dark fucking place when he wrote this.
Yeah. So
You
my
know,
counterpoints to that would be, I got that feeling, but it didn't make me feel that way myself personally. Like I maybe it's because I can't relate to Shinji at all, and I still can't. We've talked about this at
yeah.
nauseum at this point. I don't want to rehash that whole argument from our pandemic days. But I find him to be one of the most frustrating characters that I've ever watched or seen in a medium, and he does not change in this movie. Spoiler alert. In
Well, it's
any
the
way.
same thing as so it takes place concurrently with like the last 2 to 3 episodes of Evangelion.
So it's a
Um,
rewrite of those. It's not a sequel. It's a rewrite of those
correct.
last
So
2
like
or 3
while the
episodes.
congratulations stuff is happening, like this is what is physically happening on the planet, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
So he doesn't change because it's the same thing. You want to
Okay.
see one where not that I'm going to ever make you consume more Evangelion, but the rebuilds are
I
literally that.
so here's what I was going to follow this up with all this negativity about. I am now more interested in the rebuilds because I'm curious to see, for one, what I would think of them, and two, I'm not going to make Ashley sit through the entire Evangelion and then this, but I could make her sit through 4 movies pretty easily, I think, over time. So I think
Yeah.
and so seeing what she thinks from a completely maybe slightly biased in the sense that I've described the show to her before. Yeah, I'm talking about you. She's sitting over there. Her unbiased perspective and then my biased perspective. I'm very curious to see what we would think about about the rebuilds, because I've heard nothing but good things about them. So, again, I'm glad I did watch this. I had it at a 7. I could probably be talked up to an 8 just because, like you said, it does seem to do what it's trying to do. But I don't like what it's trying to do, and I don't agree with it, and I think it's dumb. So there we go. Boom roasted.
I think I gave it an 8 for like the same reason. I think I was just like, this made me feel really gross, and I don't like it. But like, it did a very good job. So
yeah, like
8
again,
out of 10.
like I don't know if I
Pete
felt
loves this though,
gross.
so let's let Pete talk
Nope.
about it
Yeah, I
real
was gonna say
quick.
because I don't know if I felt.
No, okay,
No?
we're just going.
We're wrapping
We can
up.
talk about it later. All right, let's continue. What is next? Next up is Josee the Tiger and the Fish. I watched this with Ashley, and I thought it was a very cute movie, very fun movie. Uh, it's funny that I got this given to me because within the last couple months, it had popped up on like on Twitter, and there was a lot of discussion around it. Like someone tweeted, like, "This is all a man wants," and it was like the highlight reel of them going on little cutesy dates or like little activities together. And that turned into a whole ableist discussion and a lot of just like, oh, men want like a pet, men want this, blah blah blah, like a whole lot of discourse like going both ways with just shit getting thrown. And so I had no idea what to expect going into this, so I went in kind of worried that it was going to be an ableist movie, and I don't think it was in the slightest. I think that this movie does an incredible job of showing their relationship and how it blossoms. I don't know if I would say I loved the movie itself, but I really did enjoy the 2 characters. I thought they were pretty well fleshed out. Um, a little on the nose for him to end up in a wheelchair himself. I thought like the it I don't know. It wasn't the way I would have told the story or related them to each other in the end. But I did end up liking it enough. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10. Solid watch. They are cute. I loved the side characters. That was the big takeaway from this. His bro is sick. The 2 coworkers, the guy coworker is hilarious, and the female coworker is a total bitch at one point,
Yep.
but like it's intentional. Like she's doing it on purpose to help both of them, and I really appreciated that. I thought that they were handled really, really well, almost better than the main characters too. It almost felt Yamada like to me, where I'm like, I don't care about the main guy at all. I care about the other characters involved. So yeah, that's Josee the Tiger and the Fish. And then my last one, my favorite one that I had to watch, Gushing Over Magical Girls. I had 3 episodes of that I had to watch. This show is everything I hate about anime, and I cannot stress enough how awful it is. I am so thankful I have not had to watch the rest of this, because I think if it got any worse, I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. There's a lot of things I probably shouldn't say on air that I would do. Um, it's just despicable. It's disgusting. It's basically hentai, but it's not too, because it's very intentionally not. Like this is the ultimate gooner show, is what it really is, right? Like, and it tries to pretend that it's being, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not parody, but
Tongue in
it's
cheek.
yeah, a little bit. A deconstruction. I think it's trying to deconstruct the magical girl trope, but it doesn't at all. It's still or be like, oh, this is how. Look at how other shows will make you look at them then transform and look at them in fights and everything, and then it just does it anyways though too, and it's not it's just a fetish. The show is I did not like the show at all. I can
I don't
talk
think the
about it
show's
another
trying to
time.
be anything but a fetish, to be
Yeah, well, I don't know. Was it or not though? Then why do
Yeah,
people like it other than the
because it makes
Gooners?
them horny.
I
I
think
think.
I think people try to like do it. It's like Kill a Kill for Yuri, but like I don't.
What?
Yeah.
Not even close. Okay, I'm glad you're on my side because I was worried that I
I
was going to be
haven't even
like
seen a second
the
of the
center.
show. I ain't touching that
Okay.
Yeah,
shit.
I've seen 0
No, but
seconds
like,
of
and
it.
also by the way, seeing who likes it on Twitter, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, kind of. His name rhymes with
EB
Weeby, Weeby.
EVUs, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that guy. He gushes over this show all the time. Good one, thanks. Yeah. Uh, I have no interest in thinking that this is good, and I hope you're taking the piss if you ever talk about it positively, other than being able to say, I guess, like if you like fetish content and you like hentai, then great, this is for you. Do not watch this show. I can't believe it's getting a second season. Oh my god, it is awful. It's awful. It is not like Kill a Kill in any way. I don't think. But yeah, that's those are the ones that I had. Kat, you had a few left yourself. What did you have?
I did. So, I guess we'll start with something to heal your soul, Pat. So the show that I had to watch, most that I just finished, today was Rurouni Kenshin, right? You'll be happy to know that I really did enjoy it. I really,
Yeah.
it scratched an itch that I didn't realize that I was having again. Because like some of my first anime, like One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, like all those stuff, like it's very similar to a battle shonen, and I just really was able to get into it. The 2023 version did have some really good choreography, and it helped me. And I actually started going back uh, a couple of days ago when I first started watching it. I was actually going back through the first like big fight during like episode 7. I started going back and actually looking at each cut and just kind of like trying to figure out how to like describe it just to kind of like give myself a little bit more leverage in my book. But anyway, yeah, I really really loved it. I loved the art style. I loved the I really liked how I really got into the anime. But I think I rated it a 9 out of 10. So
There
yeah.
you go. It's a really good show. I think the modern art versus the classic, you could go either direction, and I think that what's cool about the newer version is it's a little more polished, which
Mhm.
some people may like, others don't. But also it kind of lets him retcon or lets the people working on the show retcon slight changes into the story that have all been pretty beneficial so far. And you don't notice them in the first season like what you watched, but there is one specific episode, the episode with the where they were where Kenshin is off on his own, and
Mhm.
there's the medicine person. That's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
in
yeah.
the original show or the manga at all. It's a completely new
Oh,
thing that was added to give a little bit more layer to his character, and I thought that was really cool. Second season does even more of that, so I think you'll enjoy it if you ever get to it. But I'm glad you watched it and glad you enjoyed it.
I'm glad you gave it to me. All right. Pluto. So oh, okay. So I watched Pluto. I watched Pluto closer to the beginning of like after we got this. I have a huge fear of AI, like the whole AI like doing like becoming actually like a semblance of sentience and like coming to the conclusion that humans are the worst plague to humanity because computers are in essence binary and they would view humans as an overall evil rather than a good. So I only had the first 2 episodes, but this show definitely gave me a healthy fear again. And I loved how beautiful the show was though. Like looking at the background art and the like having the music paired along with it, it just felt really, really nice. That paired with the fact that AI can kill people in this world is not fun. Like that's just really scary to me. But I I really enjoyed the first two episodes of Pluto. I don't know if I'm gonna actually go back and actually finish
You
it,
should.
but
You really
It's
should.
it's
I
being
think
really well rated by almost everybody that watches it. From
And
what I've
somebody
seen.
on this podcast gave it their anime of the year. You should check it out.
I might give it a shot.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Um, okay.
That's like this thing is about my one primordial fear, and Pete's like, "Too bad, it's pretty fucking good. You watch it."
Now I will
Well,
say
there's like
during-
things that like address the fear in a way that I think he'll really like.
Now, here's the thing. To be fair, with that idea, with more and more humans kind of classifying billionaires as a different species as subhuman, I think that if AI starts killing people, it's probably going to kill the billionaires first, which I'm cool with. You know? Fuck them. Anyway, so anyway, Birdie Wing. Uh, Birdie Wing. The opposite of golf. It's actually fun. Like
Got him.
No,
Got his
bad take.
ass.
Both
Birdie
cannot
Wing
be
was
true.
so much fun. Like, oh my god, this show was so. I loved like sitting down with my wife and just going, "Hey, Burley, I'm gonna watch the girls' golf show," and she's like, "Okay," and then she just sits there and she's like, "I don't know what the fuck is going on," and I'm like, "I don't fucking know either." So I just fucking this show was very very fun for me, and yeah. Vampire Hunter D. Oh,
Sorry, I
Vampire
had to
Hunter.
go get my Birdie Wing golf ball that I had
Oh, nice.
help making. Yeah, it's my lucky ball. I keep it in my back pocket and haven't lost it yet somehow when I'm playing.
Okay, so my notes that I wrote for Vampire Hunter D, like 6 months ago, um, mostly are, hey, I really like this show. I really like this movie. It was a lot of action and shit like that. And then it was just like connections between Vampire Hunter D and One Piece and why the D's in One Piece have D's in their name and why they're so powerful. Um I gave the movie a 9 out of 10. I
Damn.
really enjoyed it. Thank you, Jay. Um but I don't remember much about it because all the notes that I wrote down were connections of the D's in One Piece because I got on a hyper focus rampage. But but yes, I really did enjoy the movie.
Jolene, why don't you wrap things up for us?
Sure, I'll make it quick. So the main thing that I enjoyed that I watched was I finished out Mobile Suit Gundam. Man, that show goes places. It's really interesting for a fucking Saturday morning cartoon that's meant to sell toys. Like they were definitely really trying to get really like deep and spiritual with it in a lot of ways, especially towards the end when like Lala Soon gets introduced. I think that it's just really well done for 1979. Holy shit. The music's awesome. The animation is definitely like aged, but they're still really trying to do a lot of interesting stuff with what they've got. I started listening to a podcast as a companion for this called Mobile Suit Breakdown, where they go into each episode and talk about it in depth, as well as like the designs of the mobile suits and what they're based on. Hint, a lot of stuff based on Japanese pro wrestling, by the way,
Hell yeah.
because the animators were just the right age to be children when pro wrestling got to Japan. Um, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Char is still awesome. At one point, somebody says, "Where's Char?" And I was just agreeing with that because every time Char wasn't on screen, I'm like, what the fuck is Char doing? There's an episode called Char Returns where that's literally the only thing he does is return at the end of the episode for like 30 seconds. uh, and it's also funny that they have the most spoilery previews of the episodes at the end of every episode because at one point they'll literally tell you that a character dies in the next episode at the end of the previous episode. And then it goes, who will survive? And it's like, well, not them, obviously. I also watched 6 episodes of Trigun 98. It was alright. I like the new stuff better, personally. Like, Stampede just seems a little bit better for me, I guess. It definitely shows its age quite a bit. Pluto, really fucking good. Pluto was a slapper.
Let's
The only
go.
thing about Pluto is I literally do have to take some points off because there's very obvious AI generation used in the backgrounds in several episodes. If you like kind of like watch it and you're watching the backgrounds, the cityscapes are all basically AI generated, which is fucked. But other than that, it
Really?
was yeah.
That's
I didn't
so
realize that.
weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the director of Pluto has some very interesting opinions about the usage of AI in art, is what I will say, which is very funny since he fucking directed Pluto.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
I think that the characters in Pluto are really fucking interesting. It's similar to Dororo, where obviously because it's based on a story by the same author, where there's a lot of like history of anime and manga that's involved with it because it's like based off of an old Astro Boy story, but from a different perspective. Um, Seeing how they translated the designs of the characters in that old like really old school cartoon style to the modern day was really interesting, although I think a lot of them were kind of downgrades, I'm not gonna lie. Um, and I enjoyed it quite a bit despite like, the kind of glaring flaw with the AI stuff. And then I also watched 2 episodes of Princess of Snow and Blood because that's all you're getting out of me for that show, Pat. Uh, this show, if I had to, I love food and I often compare like art that I eat to meals and stuff like that. This was like just eating fondant. Like, I wanted there to be some cake underneath, but no, it was just like plastic that was kind of like spray painted bright neon colors. Uh, I'm not gonna watch anymore. I'm sorry. I mean, the time period is really interesting. I love that sort of like Golden Kamui Demon Slayer time period, but
The Meiji era. Yeah, yeah, it's
yeah,
sick.
like I would just watch Golden Kamui or Demon Slayer instead. Honestly, I don't know. Especially like I feel like it's pretty close to like Demon Slayer in a lot of ways. In terms of like the fights and like the whole like demonic aspect of it.
Yeah, what I liked was the brushstroke stuff and the just the art. But then yeah, like you
Character
said though,
designs are cool.
there's the character exactly. Like there's a lot of cool stuff going on, but there's just no like you said, there's no layers at all with it, which is why I thought a couple episodes would be at least fun to see. So I'm glad you didn't enjoy them enough
And
to want to continue, maybe.
I also had to watch a bit. I had to watch all of Your Boy Cog Ming. I regret to say that I did not finish that, but I am in the process of watching it. I didn't realize how much grass I was going to be touching this summer. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. It's just a fun premise. The OP is an Omega banger for sure, and I think it's just it's a good time. It's gonna be one of those like, oh, it's a rainy day, I can't go outside. Let's turn your boy Kongming on and get in a good mood. It's just a fun time. That's it for me.
Hell yeah. Well, I think we got everything from everybody that we all consume. So we did it, guys.
Didn't
Way to
you-
go.
Did you not have any that weren't consumed by the group?
He did them before
Yeah, remember I fucked
Sarazanmai,
up?
which is why you,
I thought you only did one of them before Sarazanmai.
I only had 2 others.
no, he did.
Oh, you only had 2 other. Okay, never mind then. Sorry.
Yeah, I had
just want
a-
to make sure. Yeah.
I had a lighter palette, I would say, than most people because I didn't think I would be able to watch everything, and I did, so it worked out. But okay, we are hot, we're sweaty, we're tired. Let's wrap this up. If you've made this far and you want to support us, the best way to do so: like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are watching or listening to us on. Next week for Watch Club, we're doing K-pop Demon Hunters, which I just saw that their hit song is the #1 song on Billboard. It overtook Morgan Wallen, so that's kind of
Nice.
fucking crazy. I can't wait to like consume it and see what the hype is all about because I've only seen funny gifs. Other than that, in 2 weeks, For Outside of Watch Club, we are doing our anime Gremlin episode. So we are going to be breaking down Gremlins and getting a some definitions made because I think it's a little scary out there and there's no like real definition. So me and Miles are going to create definitions for the entire anime sphere to use. And what we say is bond. So that should be a fun episode. So I want to say thanks to everybody out there who's listening, and we will see you next time. Peace!